Welcome to the introduction to the Third Battle of Winchester. Gonna do a little freehand video for the introduction because this is so big that it's gonna require me moving around a little bit to give you the big picture. I will be doing more focused videos when the battle does get started and we get it focused in on everything. But I just wanted to kind of give you a pan of the whole field to get started. And we'll go through and kind of talk about what's what over here. And we've got the Confederates set up. They start on the board with everything. But just to give you a little introduction to this is occurring September 20th, 1864. This is what just after Sheridan has reorganized his army, pulled together several different corps. The 6th Corps on loan from the Army of the Potomac, as well as the 19th Corps coming up from Louisiana, and again on loan from the Army of the Potomac, as well as the Army of West Virginia under Crook, who had suffered the defeat at Kernstown just about a month and a half ago. So all three of those have been pulled together, and now Sheridan has consolidated his command, and he's getting ready to now attack early. And his main focus is to attack and destroy early in the valley, and claim it for the Union in the end. So the first battle that comes up here is Winchester. Early is encamped around Winchester, holding this lower part of the valley, and again threatening to attack into Maryland and Washington and just cause as much grief for the Union to pull units away from Lee at Richmond and Petersburg and keep them away from there so he can potentially survive and do something later. So with him in Winchester here, this was a precarious position, and the Union needed them to take control of the valley itself, end to end, the lower part all the way to the upper part. That was the only way that they were going to ensure safety to Washington, as well as the B&O Railroad and Western Maryland. So Sheridan wanted to organize some sort of attack, but in the meantime, Lee had actually reinforced the valley with Kershaw's brigade from the Army of Northern Virginia. And that brigade had actually brought up parity to him and, well, not quite parity, but more force in the Army of the Shenandoah to prevent Sheridan from thinking about an attack. But then he was recalled, and that opened up an opportunity for Sheridan to attack. And that's what leads to the Third Battle of Winchester. Now, on the whole, if we look across the entire map here, you can see there's a pretty large area. And this is pretty much the initial setups of Early with Ramseur's brigade right here, just east of Winchester over here. He's along what's called the Berryville Pike. He's holding that, as well as with some cavalry from Johnson's brigade. He's holding the Berryville Road Turnpike all the way across here. Now, up in here, this is what's called the canyon, Berryville Road Canyon here. It's a very steep area that runs along the what's the river here? The Ash Hollow Run. And that is a natural choke point for coming down the Berryville Pike. And if you notice, there's a lot of woods to the north and to the south. The next road down here is the Cincinnati Road right here. Okay, that could be used as a angle for attack. But there's still a lot of Confederate units up to the north here. There's Ramseur's here. Wharton will actually come in from the north. He was actually stationed just up above here beyond Stevenson's Depot. And he'll be coming on board as reinforcements. So Sheridan wanted to find a point that he could attack and gain some sort of surprise, and also some sort of wedge that he could get in and capture Winchester, break up Early's army, and destroy it from that point. So that's why he picked this. He thought this would be a good strategic location, although it is very restricted, as you can see by the movement there. There's not much road and field to maneuver around, and we do have a brigade of cavalry as well as several regiments of John Stunn's brigade of Ramseur's division. So that'll be the first part here, is the Union is actually going to come down the road, and that's going to be the Union's line of advance right there. You see the blue star right there. That is going to be essentially their line of advance for most of their troops, the infantry at least. The cavalry will eventually come on the board way up here, chasing down Wharton's units as they retreat. And the cavalry will be under Tobert, and that'll be three brigades of cavalry moving down the road under Torbert's control. I think that's three brigades, we'll take a look here when we look at the order of battle. They've got that set up here in a minute. So anyways, that's kind of how the battle historically went in terms of entering and getting onto the board. It was fought mainly in this area here between the first woods right there and the second woods over here, and then the south woods over in here. So this general vicinity right in here, a little bit spilled over the Red Bud Run to the north here as well, particularly when the cavalry came in. Also, what's important about this, there were several major Union cavalry charges employed here. It was really the first time major cavalry, organized cavalry charges were made during an attack. We had others like Brandy Station and the raid on Richmond and others, but this was really a coordinated effort between the cavalry and the infantry to attack, which was something new for the Union, and was ultimately very successful in the end. We'll see if we repeat that, or we can have Early hold out. We're also going to take a look at the command decisions. As I've said before, a number of them are made before the battle starts. Like I said, the entry positions of the starting things, those are all set by the scenario. But we will actually take a look at the tactical decisions going to be made along this route, and try to figure out if we can get victory for one side or another. Moving along here to the victory conditions. There's several victory conditions, a little bit complex, but not too bad. It's going to be the same victory conditions that we had before. In other words, brigade combat, ineffective units, but only divisions will count this time. Eliminated cavalry, eliminated artillery count as well. And then we will also have several victory hexes that will shift the level of victory. So, for instance, if we hold the forts here, Collier, Starr, and Jackson, those three provide, each one of those will provide a little victory level shift upward of 1 for the ultimate end. So if it was at a draw and you held all three of those forts at the end of the game, well, guess what? You would move up 3 levels, which would be, I believe, a major victory, if not a strategic victory, within there. So it's going to be important to attack those different victory hexes. These are 3 of them. These works here are another one. Again, all 3 of those are Confederates. The Berryville Pike, over here is for the Confederates as well. And then for the Union, way down here in the lower corner, the Valley Pike, this hex in the corner, will also be a shift, a 2 shift, and the same thing for the Berryville Pike for the Confederates, a 2 shift to the victory conditions as as we go along here. So it's going to be important for the Union to actually attack, to deny those things. So taking the forts, taking the Confederate dugout positions here are going to be very, very important to keep the Confederates from achieving a victory, because the number of victory points most likely will be lower in terms of the levels, but we may get up there as the battle goes on here. So those are going to be the victories for us, mainly the hexes and the elimination of cavalry, artillery, and division level BCE, or I should say DCE. Okay, so that is the victory conditions. Let's take a look at our orders of battle over here. I've made some setup cards here just to make my life a little bit easier. You may notice some notes on there because I made a few mistakes and I want to add a few things to them later. But this will be helpful because you see we'll have Wilson's cavalry starts off over here, as well as then Wright's corps come in, Getty, Ricketts, Russell, followed by the 19th Corps, Emory. His corps comes in with Grover and Dwight over here. Sorry, make sure I'm pointing at the right thing for both the camera and my finger. We then have Crook and the Army of West Virginia down here, both Thorburn, Duval, and then the cavalry you can see down here. Well, this is what I was talking about before. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brigades worth of cavalry to come on over here between Army of West Virginia and the units on loan from Army of the Potomac. Then we've got our normal regular cards, and then we come over to the Confederates. Here's our setup over here, which we've done already. Basically, Ramseur is on the board with some cavalry, and then we have the Confederates up here that are going to be coming in later on. That's going to be the rest of Early's army: Gordon, Rhodes, Breckinborough with Wharton coming down from the north, and then more cavalry coming in there as well. So there's going to be a lot of cavalry engagements to the battle and to everything here. The other thing should be noted, let me come back here slowly so I don't make people seasick. This is going to be fairly long. Starts at 5 a.m., goes to 6 p.m. So you can see that we got 2, 4, 6, 7, 14 turns. So this is going to be a long one. That's why I'm trying to do this as early as possible. And you probably won't see this until right around the 20th, which is 20th of September, which is what I want, where I want this to land. But probably what I'm going to do is each one of the turns I will do a summary at least on there. Then if I get more interesting combat being set up, whether it be an individual activation or a series of activations, I may do a video on those and string those together like I've done before as well. But this should be quite a few. I picture at least 14 summaries for this, as well as several others that I'll tack in there as well. So be prepared for a decent series on this. I will try to keep them, again, to usual mark of 20 minutes to a half an hour in terms of all of them. Some of them might go long, especially if I start doing some attacks and stuff. They'll may get up to about 40 minutes or longer. But hopefully you'll enjoy the battle. Looking forward to this one. It's something I've been wanting to do. It's kind of these bigger, medium to larger battles. 2 mappers, good amount of units. I think this is a medium because the volume of units is not as bad as some others like Red Badge of Courage, 2nd Manassas, and 3 Days of Gettysburg and such on there. But this is decent enough. A lot of map, a lot of maneuvering. Hopefully get some decent cavalry charges in there, and I'll definitely bring you back for some of those. And hope you enjoyed watching these. And once again, if you like these, please like the video at least. Please subscribe. It's all good stuff. 3 Days of Gettysburg and the Great Battles and Death Valley. This one, really good, super games and really fun times to play. So enjoy.